HubSpot's buyer intent. What is it and how you can use it? Welcome to the HubSpot Mentors podcast brought to you by Red Pandas Digital. I'm Tasha, joined by the one and only solution seeker, Semi. How you going, Semi?
Very good. That's definitely stuck on, hasn't it? Like every episode, the introduction is solution seeker, Semi. I feel very,
100%,
I feel very
man.
honored. That's great.
When I look at you, all I think is solution seeker, Semi, because that's what you are. I mean, you are like a dog with a bone with a problem. You will not stop until you solve it.
That's true. I'm very curious by nature.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Very curious person
I mean, let's
by
get to the
nature.
topic of today.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how we got to this tool, because I think we're both quite curious and we saw this buyer intent beta,
Dude,
which
honestly,
I think a couple of episodes I may have.
It's been out for it's been out for a year, right? We've just been like, it's one of,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where
It's in beta right now. It's been out for a year. Yeah.
it's been out for a year. I'm not gonna. We're a little bit delayed, but I think the truth is it's like one of those things where you don't know what you only focus on what you actually need right now, and like buyer intent was one of those things where it's not is it going to make a huge difference? Maybe.
No, well, I mean, a lot of our episodes up until now, and I mean, and they probably will in the future, a lot of the themes of our episodes, Semi, are always like, keep it simple, new portal onboardings, do only what you need to focus on. But I mean, I think a few episodes ago, I may have even said, what's the difference between target accounts and buyer intent? And that could have sparked the idea for this episode. And I love that it did, because you and I have just gone off on tangents to find out how this tool will actually impact us and also our clients that are using specifically Marketing Hub Professional. I mean, just actually remind me, buyer intent, is it only for Marketing Hub Professional or does it apply to Sales Hub Pro as well?
Yeah, good question. I think it's right now it's part of the Marketing Hub Pro and above packages.
Yeah, so it's actually technically what HubSpot's knowledge base says. And I mean, if you're familiar with HubSpot's knowledge bases, not that they're wrong, but they could possibly be seen as a little bit misleading, because buyer intent is available for Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, Service Hub, Operations Hub, and Content Hub, starter through to enterprise. So technically you get it with any starter minimum hub subscription. But as we know with HubSpot, you only get a little bit of it. It's more when you start to buy more, you get more of it, right?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, you're right. I think, but it does live in the marketing section within HubSpot's portal. So
that's it.
Yeah, if you do want to find it, it's in there. And it's a bit of a weird one, because like when I was thinking about buyer intent, I had this conversation yesterday too. We're thinking about it. It's like, is buyer intent as a sales tool or a marketing tool? You know, it's like this gray line between the two. Like, you don't know, is it sales, marketing? What is it? What's the purpose of it? And the truth is, it's just there to support your business as a whole. And I think we should need to start moving away from thinking about marketing, sales, and it's just get rid of those lines in between the two silos. And it's just a team. One team, one dream. We're going the right direction towards building the
We call it the
business.
revenue team, right?
Yeah,
because we make it the revenue.
Exactly.
So, Semi, what is this HubSpot buyer intent tool? I mean, give us the elevator pitch. What does it do?
Basically, high level, it uses something called reverse IP lookup. So looks up the IP of the person that's looking, or people that are looking on your website, and then gives you a high level overview of their activities within your portal, within your website. So then that way you go, okay, great. Let me look at the behavior signals. You can then, get that information and do data enrichment, figure out who these people are, and you can then reach out to them. And then you can also then use, with the buyer intent stuff, you can then real live active like alerts and stuff in your dashboards and a whole range of bits and pieces, and then alert you on who these people are. So essentially, before, you're only limited to knowing the people that are on your website based on the moment you have collected the information data. With this buyer intent, you can then know who these people are before they have subscribed for you. That's why it's called buying with a buyer intent. The buyer has intended to buy from you, but they haven't purchased from you. So
yeah, I like that. So in essence, it can turn anonymous website traffic, because we still don't know who someone is until they convert, right? Like that cookie being dropped on someone's browser still won't unless they fill in a form. But with buyer intent, we can at least see anonymous web traffic. We can see, based off what you were saying before, that reverse IP lookup, address lookup, we can see roughly where they're coming from. So this sounds like a really good tool maybe for like B2B. So Red Pandas is trying to sell to, company ABC, and there's 50 people at company ABC all working at that particular company, searching our website, looking at our content. With the buyer intent tool, we can see that people from ABC company are like stalking our website. We can see what pages they're spending time on. Now, we don't know who they are yet, unless they're already a contact in our CRM, but we know that there are some highly engaged employees at ABC company looking at Red Panda's content. So if I'm a salesperson or I'm an outreach person, you bet I'm picking up the phone and calling ABC company and saying, hey, it's so-and-so from Red Pandas. I want to talk to your, marketing manager or sales manager, depending on what we're trying to sell. So it's turning those anonymous website traffic visits into high intent coaching opportunities. And I love what you said here for both, marketing and sales teams. It's not just sales, but it's marketing to know what content's working. It's sales to reach out to the right intentional people looking for what we serve, essentially.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's hot. It is a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool. I know, like, there's other softwares and stuff. I've used a couple other softwares that do something very similar to this, and you can create push things in. It's good to know that HubSpot has this natively within it, so you don't have to invest in another tool, and it comes out to you. It comes in valuable for you. But just on that point, it is only designed for B2B businesses, like you mentioned. Just want to stress that point. So if you're B2C, it's not going to apply for you because your customers aren't looking at one. It doesn't know who it is, like you said. So it's really
though I can't see a use case for B2C right now. I mean, I'd love to be challenged. If someone's listening to this and thinks, oh, you could, I mean, by all means challenge us on it, because I can't see it. But I agree, it's very much like one business selling to another business.
Yeah, exactly. And all those properties and information that you want to create workflows out of, actually, by the way, you can create workflows, is all based on company properties. So just another giveaway on that one. All right.
Okay, cool. Well, obviously the featured feature is going to be about the buyer intent tool. But before we get into it, Semi, are there a couple of kind of like key setup or key things we need to consider before we go off and even start using this?
Yeah, I was, honestly, there was a really good, we had a really good conversation with you yesterday, I think, when we were trying to prep this.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
When we were prepping this up, and then we went real deep. I'm more of a sales kind of guy. I understand sales tactics, sales approaches, and all that fancy sales, or how to support someone and problem solve solution seeker semi stuff. But I think you come from more of a marketing approach with things, and you've been doing a lot of marketing.
That's where I started.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you started with the core essence of marketing. So it was one of those things where we're saying, how would you use this, Tasha, from a marketing perspective? How would you utilize workflows? Let's just say, based on our HubSpot knowledge and the fact that we can create workflows, what would be some approaches that you can utilize this with?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is the example that you're thinking of that I shared now, kind of brainstorming for this episode, but I do, what comes to mind is I had a client a few years ago that B2B, again, they were a product, they sold a particular product in a very niche market, and they knew they could only sell to 200 companies. They were like, hey, these are the 200 companies that we can sell to because that's our ICP. And we used to have these conversations with the client. This was kind of the role was like sales/marketing manager. So often we find really good synergies when we work with people in that role because they've got a sales and marketing kind of brain. Nonetheless, this person was saying to me, Tasha, I want to be able to have 100% market share. I want my product in 100% of these 200 stores, right? I want it in every single store. And HubSpot didn't have this kind of feature back then. So I reckon we should send this episode to this client I'm thinking of. But what he would say to me is like, okay, if I've got my product and I know I've got my product in these 50 stores, then that's, 25% market share. But there's these at least 200 stores that I could be marketing to, outreaching to, tracking, trying to determine whether or not they've got intent to, buy from us. And if they don't have intent, we need to be getting on the phone, hitting the pavement, knocking on their doors, like doing the marketing / sales type of activities. So where I see marketing coming into play, when you're using something like this, if you know who your ICPs are, who your targets are, where you want your product or service to be bought, like who's the person you want to sell to, you obviously know that persona. So then your marketing material should be talking to those personas. And then obviously if you're using HubSpot Marketing Hub, you have workflows that educate, build trust, gain authority, and give call to actions, so that if you're a marketer creating this beautiful content and workflows, and then you use buyer intent and you can see that ABC company has got 10 people actively engaged on your site, you say to an outreach or a BDM, hey mate, go to that company, get me 10 contacts into the CRM that I'm going to enroll into. Obviously get their permissions, guys. Don't do it without getting permissions, but get their permission to add them to these really great nurturing streams using buyer intent, enroll them in there. Bob's your uncle. Let your content do its work. They get educated, they get nurtured, trust gets built. There's beautiful call to actions in those emails. You're using all of HubSpot, others kind of beautiful sales and marketing tools. And then they turn into opportunities, and then we let sales kind of take it from there. Yeah. So that if I was talking to my client on how to use buyer intent and why they should be using it, I'd actually want to have sales and marketing in the room together, and I'd say, this is how you guys are going to use this together.
Yeah, I think that's a really good.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah, I agree with you. Content, because at the end of the day, marketing is all about content. Like if you can produce the right content and it's going to be able to support the customer, I think that's going to then answer most of their questions, and they're more willing to buy from you, because ultimately that's what's going to drive revenue, right? Yeah. They ask
the right content at the right time as well.
They ask you answer approaches, right? You know what came to my mind as you were saying this? The fact that you can, you have to use HubSpot credits for this to then enrich contacts and add them to your CRM. You can then create a workflow that would then put them into a list. And I know you might know, you might know about this one, but then you can definitely use like smart content to then customize.
Smart content to then
customize.
Contextualize.
Yeah, contextualize like that approach for that person's, like for those people on your website. That would
be, if we're going to geek out here, what Semi's talking about is like next level HubSpot smart content, contextualization. If you know that you've got like 40, 50, 60, 100 people at maybe a corporate company looking at your website, you could grab the details from those people using either enrichment, or you go there and you get the contacts' names, get it into your CRM, put them in a list, if you're using HubSpot CMS as well, this makes it easier. Use smart content to dynamically show a different call to action on particular pages for them. And it could literally say, the basic example is welcome back Semi, right, to your website. But if it's a particular company, maybe you can textualize something for that company. So
if it's an like education based,
really clever.
Yeah, if it's an education based, really it can be like how we help that education for case studies, for example. Or if it's like a specific one for like a SaaS company, or a B2B plumbers local stuff, you can then customize the approach and support their needs, because then you're not you're using the buyer intent as a marketing like tool to then create that call to action. And you know that if that person like goes through that next set of actions on your CTAs on your website, that person is going to be significantly more educated and is going to be the right company contact for you. That's a good point.
That's us just geeking out.
I know. It's just, I can't stop it. All right, great. So just a quick high level overview. I think it's also important as a user to understand some of the things that you need to know about within HubSpot before you start jumping into buyer's intent. Number one is you need to understand how to segment your data out, your market. So who's your market, numbers, all that, how can I segment that out? Number of employees,
ICP, personas. That's it. Like do the work. Yeah. Do the work. If you're a marketer, you've done this already. If you haven't, do the work, right?
Yeah. The next thing is setting your intent criteria. Like, what are the specific websites that I might have looked at? So, like, what does intent mean for you or your business? Is it specific website pages? As we're talking about, it's like, for us, it's like someone's looked at our web pricing page. It means that this person is considering buying from you. So therefore, that one,
maybe they've downloaded something.
I want to set a view for that, and then notify my sales rep ASAP to get in contact with that company at least, right? And so, that would be one. Then you got intent topics. So these are like topics that your business is searching for. So you just need to know what those are. And there is like research element around this one. So you can then research that. There is an option where you can put your URL, spits out all the stuff that people would search to find your business. So you can have that info. There's a couple more here. Then there is the automatically adding those companies into CRM. This is where you need HubSpot credits to then enrich that data and then be able to put that into HubSpot, right? And there is like, it's an add-on.
Which I think you get like 5,000 now for professional subscriptions. 5,000. You get 5,000 like out of the box. I don't know how many credits you would use to enrich one company. I mean, that's quite tactical, but I mean, give it a go, use them. And then if you need more credits, hit your CSM up.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the email digest, which is like once you've done all that stuff, you save your view and then you literally give it to your sales rep on a regular monthly, day-to-day or daily update, contact these people, right? And then you've got...
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I know. That's like, that just saves you so much, workflows in the background, like by a click of a button.
Yeah. Or even putting it on a dashboard. What I've been making a lot for salespeople lately is like, a custom report, and I'm sure maybe there's one out of the box, I don't know, but it's a custom report for a rep. Here are contacts in the system engaging with your marketing materials that don't have deals or aren't leads. And that for them is like a highly engaged contacts list. So if you're a BDM or a salesperson and you've finished your work, your sales deals work or your leads work, you'd then go to that list if you wanted to do some kind of outreaching and cold calling, or quote unquote cold calling, because it's not really cold. The report that you're talking about as well, like a nice complimentary report. If you're that kind of contact one is probably more B2C, I would say. And then in the B2B space, what you're talking about, here's the companies that have been active on your website. Here's the pages they've been looking at, how many unique visits, which is obviously going to show you how many people from that business are being active on your website. Yeah, that's cool. I like that one very much.
I think the key here is just to add that, is that you said something important, which is like your salespeople, but it's actually revenue team, right? So supporting your revenue team, you don't want to leave your salesperson hanging out going, who am I going to call now? Right? We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So if you can support your sales rep or sales person to then be able to give them all the information they can, this is one of those tools you definitely should know about. Now, there's
100%, and it makes that adoption of HubSpot so much easier as well. The amount of salespeople this year that have said to me, "This is so good. I'm so happy I can see this information." Like they instantly love HubSpot because they can see that marketing info. So this is a big one. If you've got a problem with your salespeople wanting to use HubSpot, show them the benefit of some of these marketing tools and how you can report and show them what people are viewing before you make a call to them. Those salespeople eat that up. They love it.
On that note, just a little side rail. I literally went like an hour and a half ago. I had an onboarding call with a client. I went them through how a salesperson can send and log and track their sales one-to-one emails in HubSpot. Poof, they blew their mind. It was like, this is the next
mind blown.
They were like, I can't get over how I can know if they read my email or not. It's like one of them said, they opened it 12 times. And
wow.
They've opened my email 12 times, and when I sent a follow up, and they responded back to me straight away. I was like, there you go. So
I get so happy to hear something like that, Semi. Like, because we do this so much and we just think it's normal. But then obviously when we get these new clients in and we teach them something like that, something so simple, and it's amazing for them, we're like, oh, mate, like you're in for a good ride with what we're going to teach you in this system.
Absolutely.
So, that's cool. Thanks for sharing. It's very fulfilling.
Absolutely. So back to buying intent. Just one more thing that obviously very important for us to know is about who are excluding out of that funnels, because we don't want to be searching for everything.
Oh, good point.
So it's really important that we know what that criteria looks like so that we can exclude those companies, those domains, competitors, people that you're in conflict with, whatever you want to call them. just excluding them out of your buy intent so you're not wasting your sales, because you might know who they are, but your sales rep might not know and your team might not know. So excluding them from early on is going to then support them better. Again, we're trying to one team, one dream, we're any team. So make sure we do that.
Woo.
Now,
awesome.
One last thing before we jump into feature is make sure your tracking code is installed. Otherwise, all this won't work.
Oh, 100%. That's like probably the most important thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just assumed everyone would have. You should never assume. Makes an ass out of you and me. With that said, Semi, I'm super excited for us to get into the featured feature.
Yeah.
So take it away, and thanks for taking us through buyer intent today. Good stuff.
Hey there, it's Semi here from Red Pans Digital. Just going to run you through how to use buyer intent in HubSpot, how to configure it so you can make the most of it in your portal. So without wasting more time, let's jump straight in. Buyer intent lives in the marketing section in your CRM. So on the left-hand side, if you go into marketing, scroll all the way down just below SMS and lead scoring, just above lead scoring, go buyer intent. If you click into buyer intent, it will then take you to this page within the tool. It will take you to the visitor section. So what essentially buyer intent is now, without getting into super specifics around it as of yet, buyer intent allows you to see those visitors that are in your website before they become a contact in your CRM. So they're showing intent in on your website, looking at different pages, looking at the different information that's available for you. So that information is captured through what we call buyer intent. And HubSpot's has built out this intent funnel for you to then funnel information in, allow your BDMs to reach out to those companies and make some connections. So essentially, if you go into the overview tab on the left-hand side, it will give you a graphical representation of what this looks like. So it allows you to understand how things are working. So what here is, you got your total addressable market. So those are the market or people that you are trying to address and reach out to. And this gives you a high-level overview of all the companies that you may be able to sell to, right? And we can configure these. Again, we'll show you how to configure all of these so that you have a little bit more easy understanding and be able to play around with it in your portal. Now, once you've found your total addressable market, then we'll set up, or target markets. We'll then show visitor intent. So these are specific websites on your pages on your website that would allow, if someone visits those websites, that will show intent that these companies are considering your service or looking to possibly engage with you at some time. So those are we can set the criteria for that. And then once you've identified them, you do have the option to actually use HubSpot's AI tools like enrichment tools to then bring those companies into your CRM and then try to find contacts in there so you can reach out and make that connection and see if you're the right fit for that company and see how you can support them. So that's the high level overview. There is additional sections in here, like for example, you can see the companies that have showed intent and you can see the addressable market, a whole range of stuff. But yeah, so this is the overview tab. Now the visitor section is all those companies that actually visited your website. So I can see those companies. They might not necessarily be in your target market. Again, we haven't set that up yet, but these are the people that have looked at your website from different areas. So for example, I've got Member Jungle, I've got Owner IT Fit. So these are all the companies that have looked at my website in this month. Now, this is well and good, but obviously you can see there's a lot of people, and again, everyone's CRM is different. So if you've had your tracking code installed for a long time, you would have a lot more data, or if your SEO is working, you see a lot more visitors on your website. So these is again really good tool to know who those are without them ending up in your CRM. Now to configure this so we can get rid of the noise, we'll now go into configuration phase and start creating these target markets and then intent criteria, so we'll be able to know that. All right. So to create a target market, we'll go into manage markets. Now this we'll go to the settings tab in your HubSpot. And then I can see already here, we've got accounts, cosmetics, education, law firms. If you go create a new market, you got companies. I'm going to say, I'm going to add an industry first. I'm going to say, for example, I'm going to look for airlines and aviation. This gives me an indication of how big the market is, right? 21,865 companies that's available. I can write that down. Airlines. Now what I need to do is start figuring out my target audience in this market. So this is where all these different filters would come in. Employee range, where this company is located. I'm going to say Australia. Let's see how many people are in Australia. There you go. 537 companies are in Australia that are in that aviation space that might be, we might be able to reach out to. Or if they end up in my CRM, this is my target market. All right. Again, you can add HubSpot, for example. So let's go HubSpot. If anyone's using HubSpot, there you go. There's 17 companies that are using HubSpot that might be interested. That's in my actual target market. Now I go create a market, and then this then adds those records and tells me how many of these are contacts in my CRM. Again, this is our demo portal, so we don't actually have real data in here. And so I can see those companies in CRM. In my CRM, I can see who's created it. So it gives me a little indication of where I stand within the market, of my target market. Once we're done, now we need to go back into buying intent, and now let's configure additional information. Again, when you go into your CRM, you will then be able to see, the visitors. But now you might have noticed that there's little tags on the right-hand side that says target market on the companies that are available here. So if I want to see those companies away from this noise, on the left-hand side, I've got these filters I can utilize to filter out. There's visitors and there's target markets. If I turn on target markets, I can then only see those companies that fit my market criteria. And now I can reach out to them or try to engage with them. Now, that's just the target market area. How will we know if any of those companies are actually looking at our website? That's where intent criteria would come in. To set up an intent criteria, we go into configuration, and then we'll create these intent criteria. Now I've already gone ahead and created some of these. I've got like pricing page and service pages. For example, I go to edit. Same thing, if you go add a visitor intent, you'll end up in the same section. You write down service pages, any other pages, not necessarily be one of those, some pages that you might consider as people showing intent to buy. You can then list those out in here, and you can set conditions around that. So minimum visits, number of minimum visits is 1, or you can have like 2, 3, whatever that looks like. And then number of visits, and then per month, you can then put in time period for what was the duration. You can set country, Australia requirements around that one. And then you can exclude things like, for example, your careers page, that, if someone looks at your careers page, they're not really, buy. There might be like someone looking to work with you, but not necessarily want to buy from you. There is also recommendations. Feel free to check these out and play around with it, and so you can get a little bit more feel for it. Once you've done your criteria, we go then save it. I've already done that. So then now, if we go back into our visitors section, I will then be able to see those companies that have intent. So I'm going to get rid of target market, and then I can now look at that intent companies. They don't have to be in your target market to show intent. So if someone is in your intent criteria, you'll then be able to see those companies also. Okay, so just a really good note here. Now, once this is done, you can then filter these out, and what HubSpot calls is views. So if you want to say, hey, I want to, these are great, well and good, but I want to be able to create a view that then take it further. You can do that using views within, say, let's just say that I want to create a view of this month and visitors that have showed intent. These are important for me. I will then go save a view, and then I'll name this view as intent companies with intent. And then what I can do is I can add these automatically to my CRM. So again, it uses HubSpot's credits. So you can have the optional credit limit of 1,000, for example, or 100 companies. So you can see that, they'll set that up. And then once that's done, you go into email digest list. So just to recap this one a little bit, just take a little bit slow here. Once you say add these companies automatically, these companies don't actually are in your CRM. HubSpot uses this reverse IP to then, at the same time with AI tools and stuff, to then enrich this company, then add it to your company with the most up-to-date information. So just to note that. That's why it will use credits, HubSpot AI credits, and that's the reason why you can have that as an automatically add that, or you can add that manually based on how much credits you have, right? So once you've set that up, you're going to add email digest, and this would then mean you can then get an email update every day or every week or a month with all these visitors for you to then see. Now, if I'm going to say recently visits, set this up, and then you select the recipients that need to be in HubSpot for them to receive this. So again, really good tool for your BDMs, because you found the target, you found the audience, you found the right people in your area, you've identified who they are, and then you bring them into HubSpot. And then let's just say that I'm going to add them under my name, and then let's save this. There it is. These are the companies that are in by intent. I'm going to go ahead and actually, obviously I do have that automation that would enrich this, but I'm going to, let me just refresh it. Let's see if HubSpot's done that. If it hasn't done it, I can also add it manually here by pressing this plus button, and I go add to companies, and let's say it's going to take 10 out of my 500, and I'll say enrich records. Now we'll do this thing in the background. And if I see this HubSpot logo on the side, it means that it's been added into my CRM. Very useful tool. If I go back into filters, I'm just going to get rid of these so I can show you the rest of it. Now there's all of these different companies. You don't have to necessarily put these criteria in, but let's just say as I'm going through, I'm like, oh look, there's AM Visuals. Shout out to those guys. Very really good media company. Let's just say that I'm going to add these people to my CRM. All I do is press this plus button, add to companies, and then enrich. Now we just enrich that company. Now it should be my CRM. You can also, if you click on any of these names, you'll then be able to also see what pages they looked at, right? So AM Visuals looked at our blog, how to humanize AI content. It's like a really good, useful website. So that's it. And then you also have research. Now research is based on keywords, very similar to Google keyword search and stuff. To do that, you go into configuration. If you scroll down, you have research intent topics. And then this is really cool because you can search by company. So if I write our domain, redpandas.com.au, what it'll do is you then find articles that might be useful. So I might have added all of them. Let's try key. Sorry, I added the wrong one. Pandas.com.au. Again, you got company URL, you got keyword search. There it is. Now, these are all the people that are searching, and my keywords are showing up. I can then add these directly into my CRM to then show those visitors or show those companies that I can again enrich and then bring them into my HubSpot. I can also add different keywords. For example, HubSpot, maybe not necessarily based on my keyword search. Here it is. Already added HubSpot. There's HubSpot Solutions. So anyone searching HubSpot Solutions, HubSpot Sydney, or HubSpot AU. Let's try that. Here it is. There's all these different ones. And all I do is optimization, for example, HubSpot Diamond Partner, HubSpot onboardings, and this is those companies that have done that. You can get rid of the ones that you don't need. You do have a limit of about 20. Now save topics. Now, if I go back into research, I should then be able to see those companies, for example, by intent. There's a target market, for example, active skin from cosmetics. I can then do the same thing with this and get email digest using these filters on the left-hand side. So if I go into here, so show me all the visitors with intent, it'll then show me that, or I can go into any of these ones, HubSpot optimizations. It'll show me all the companies that have searched for that. And very similar, you can add them to your database, and you can also use these for workflows. So there are properties that HubSpot creates on the company record that should then allow you to do these automations and tasks for your BDMs to then be able to reach out to these companies. All right, guys, I know it's maybe a long one, but thanks very much, and see you guys soon.